You guys ever walk into a Nike outlet, see a pair of shoes for one price, only to find that exact same shoe for a totally different price? What's really going on? Is Nike making a price on the fly? Well, today we're gonna break it all down. We're gonna explain why Nike factory store price differently at other locations. Right now, we're at the Nike factory store celebration. I visit this store quite a lot, but it's not the most busiest store, nor is it the #1 store in the nation. But they do get gyms here once in a while. And getting gyms is the key to having a lot of customers and making a lot of sales. This tech fleece is 40% off. Check the suggested retail. That is $94.99. That's not bad. I typically pay $50 for my tech fleece tops or bottoms. And they also got the navy, the matte. However, the price for the pants is $115. That's guap. But they do have additional sales on the jogger shorts. They're 20% off. And it says shorts only. These Nike lightweight crews is not included. You gotta pay retail, $34.99. But one of my favorite tech fleece of this year is the Glitch. Well, they came out last year. It just went on sale this year and they're hitting for 40% off. And that's 40% off for $89.97. I like these and these, not bad. And they also have some heavyweight pullover hoodies. And how I know this is heavyweight before I touched it, because I can tell by the drawstrings. These are thin elastic drawstrings. That means they're stretchable. And this garment, this overhead hoodie with kangaroo pouch, maroon in color, great quality. And it's hitting for 40% off. People always want to know, how do I know the quality is heavyweight before I touch it? Well, this is a dead giveaway. Look for these drawstrings. Anytime you see the skinny white elastic drawstrings, you already know it's gonna be a heavyweight essential Nike hoodie. Typically when the drawstring match the color of the garment, it's probably the middleweight and not these. That's how I tell at a glance. Now I'm trying to tell what price this is. Oh, $69.97 with additional 40. So I had to do it the old school method. That would be $41.98. Let's round out to 42. It's not a bad price, but it's not the best price. And the best pricing will be in the Nike Unite store, community store in Georgia. This past summer, I find those garments in black, my preferred color, both the top and bottom for $19. Lead me to my next point. Why are some prices differs from different outlets? You would think there'd be a rubric or a guideline for pricing in the factory stores, but not all factory stores are created equal, because there's a few factors that affect the pricing at different stores. Location and market demand is what caused pricing. Right now we're on the back wall. They have additional 30% off, and they got some of my favorite shoes in the building, like these Romero 5s. They're hitting for $139.99, but you are getting additional 30. They end up being $97.99. And you also got this colorway as well. And this one's also hitting for the same price of $139.99. So both shoes individually will be under $100. And that's not the cheapest. I have found these shoes by far. I live in Orlando, and Orlando is known for the tourists, and that's due to Disney. And Nike factory stores that's close to Disney gets a lot of traffic. I mean a lot. They got the pennies in the building. These are the social status. What's the price for these? $149. That's guappy. And they got the LeBron 21s. That's $139. And they also got these Chaos. And these Chaos are $64.97. Another shoe that I have found super cheap elsewhere. And as always, I have to pick up shoes that I drop. Sick of it. Every video I drop shoes. That's known by now.
Nike outlet in tourist-heavy areas like Vineland in Orlando gets more foot traffic, so shoes sell faster, even at higher prices. And because people are just willing to pay retail or close to it, Nike doesn't need to mark down shoes as aggressively.
Tourists will pay the full price. Zion 3s, yes, they're $150. Now this is guappy. Given the fact that I got this shoe for way less, I'm talking about 50% less, 60% less. And because these tourists don't know the true pricing of these Nike shoes, they're willing to pay the markdown price of $99, like these P6000. Even though they're getting 60% off, given the fact I can find that shoe a whole lot cheaper elsewhere. These are the Cortez, and these are going for $80. Another guappy shoe that's priced here. And even though this store is not the #1 or #2, highly visited and high driven in revenue, they still can demand prices for $139.97 for these Air Max Plus. And in this case, the social status pennies. Moreover, these LeBrons, they're $240. That's retail. It looked like they made a pricing error of $189.97 for a second pair. It looked like that got overlooked for being marked down. So they would probably honor it at the register. And because I'm a local, I frequently shop at these outlets, so I've seen different prices. So I know what the going price or the lowest price I have seen, and I'll more likely buy from them. For tourists, they get one shot. They get one visit. And that visit probably the only time they get to visit that store. So they pretty much buy what they see.
A casual shopper visiting Orlando for vacation might grab a sneaker at full price, while a local waits for the second markdown. So there's no need to have a high ticket price when you have a lot of foot traffic.
Now I get that construed because Nike knows demand and price their product accordingly. These adjust. I like the colorway, but $169.97 is too high. I like the Air Max 90s a lot better. And they're also here at $130. Also got the DNs here, and they're at $159.99. What about the Jordan 1s, green and gray? These are the mids, and they're hitting for $84.97. Now, this is not a bad price. This would end up being around $60 for that shoe. And they got a lot of comfy walkers in the building, like these Pegasus 2005, but they're going for $150. That's retail. What about these Nike drifts or Air Plus drifts? $129.97. It is at a reduced price, but it's still a heavy reduced price. But don't forget, there's additional discount to be had for that shoe. More Air Maxes, retail. More Air Max 90s, $109. Now these Air Max Plus Mercurials is dope. Now I have seen these as cheap as $60, but look at the price here. Guapi. I saw that. That almost hit me in my face. These Cortez. You guys are frequent watchers of this channel. You guys will know I found this at the least visit Nike factory store in Orlando, which is Lake Buena Vista, and they had these for a dirt cheap price. And the price at Lake Buena Vista was literally half the price it is here. Why? Because the Lake Buena Vista doesn't get the same foot traffic as this location. With less foot traffic comes less sales. So while Lake Buena Vista need to discount that shoe to get the sale, this location don't. And that's the reason it's priced high here and discounted elsewhere. High traffic stores may hold on to discount longer, while low traffic stores discount faster to move inventory.
And while foot traffic plays a big role in pricing, it's not the only factor. Just because a store gets a lot of customers doesn't mean every shoe is flying off the shelf. Nike still tracks sale performance. How fast or slow a shoe is selling before deciding when to drop the price.
I had to circle back because these MVPs are $139.99, but this one is $89.97, but you get an additional 30% off. My bad. These are the Flight Clubs 91, not the MVPs. Like this. This is a different colorway. If you guys are not familiar with MVPs, it's a makeup of a Jordan 6 on the outsole, in the back heel, the 7 pull tab, and the 6 tongue. That's why they call the MVPs. And because every Nike factory store have its own sales goals and track how every shoe is selling, they know what will move at what price and what doesn't. For example, these marks was discounted heavily everywhere. However, they sold out and they got restocked and the price reset at $129.99. As a consumer who visits these stores frequently, I have an idea that these payoffs are gonna reduce significantly here in the short future because they were not moving. Even at the higher traffic stores, they weren't selling at that price. So I foresee this not moving here. Trust me, there's a reason why they set it at that price. That wasn't arbitrarily. They know their store. They know their metric. They know their logistic. These are also going for retail. These are the D1000s. Not too sure you guys are fancy about this, but you can find these in every other store as well. Excuse me. These are the Nike Zoom Drive SP. The Natas, $165 is the price. And to be fair, this is the same price everywhere I have been. I'll show videos of where I see this shoe at different locations at this price. The Blazers is going for $50. These are Legacies. I believe they are hitting for $60. Here's another Legacy in a different colorway, hitting for a different price and additional discounts at 30%. And by the looks of it, it looks like it's moving. And from a visual standpoint, it's evidence that this shoe is actually selling. I mean, there's few shoes in the bin. It is additional 30% off. So they mark these shoes down to sell. And more likely, these shoes would probably move at any factory store at this price. And location have less to do with this price. And I will argue you can put the same shoe with the same price in any factory store and more likely it will move. It will take a while, but more likely it will. But you can have the exact same shoe at a high traffic site at a higher price and it probably moves just as equivalent. So there's a reason why that shoe is marked down and this shoe is marked down to the lowest price they're willing to sell it. This is $64.97 with 30% off. So this shoe will sit here for a while, so it's no longer needed, and then it'll be moved to the back wall with the box lid ripped off and probably be hitting for the same price, and it probably will move at that point in time. And if this shoe does not move at this price, well, good luck to it. It may end up in a Ross or Marshall. And now there are shoes that's more likely to sell quickly. Curious to know what was here, because $84.97 with 30% off for a Jordan seems like that's a good deal. That could be a great deal. Depends on which Jordan 1 low it is. Oh, it's not a low. It's actually a mid. And I have seen these corkscrews hand joints before, but $85 with 30 off is a good price. Using this shoe as an example, Nike does have a tier markdown system. Like I told you, it's discounted. If the shoe still doesn't sell, more likely like this shoe is showing, because pretty much the bin is still stocked. Then it moves to the back wall, it still doesn't sell. I did joke and say it may end up in Ross or Marshall. part of that could be true. I don't know what happens to the shoe if it doesn't sell when it's on the hash wall. Maybe go to a different store, and I have seen that too as well. But the point I'm trying to get across is shoes with slow sales mark down shoes a lot faster than high traffic stores like this. They might be moving these Air Jordan 1s a lot faster than smaller stores. So therefore, this location probably giving us a gem by marking this down 30% because they feel they can probably sell this shoe a lot quicker. And I doubt this store, given the fact that they're selling legacies or damn near $60, they don't need to mark down this. It's a phenomenon that happens why shoes like these do get blessed with better discounts than shoes that nobody wants. That happens at the discretion of management. Some store managers have discretion over discount. While Nike said national markdown, some stores can adjust pricing based off their inventory. For example, these Ja 1s, they're going for $89.97, but you get an additional 30% off. There may be a possibility that this shoe may get a green sticker. And green stickers means extreme discount. So if you ever see a green sticker on one of these boxes, I guarantee it's gonna be a lot cheaper than you expected. Crazy if they got the Ja 2s in here. These are $84.99. I have found these on the hash wall for a lot cheaper. However, this location, you get everything intact, including the boxes, and their price literally on par with the ones, which is crazy because it's the newest shoe. Then they got the Immortalities, they got the Freak 5s, these are hitting for $100. And then you got the newer version, which is the Freak 6. You got the 6 costing the same price as the 5. Crazy to me. And look, the KDs for $114.99. Now, we all love our KDs, but I have seen these a lot cheaper. Other colorways coming from this price, it can go down a lot cheaper. Now, I am patiently waiting for a book 1 to drop below that. In every factory store you visit, you always find this shoe above 100. Now, the suggested was 145, but the lowest to get to is 119. If you find this below 100, I almost want to say it's a bargain. But we're still on the book 1s. Maybe when the book 2s comes out, the price for those would drop drastically in every location, hopefully. And there's nothing new about the pricing for the Witness. They typically hover around that price unless you go to a clearance store. And again, clearance store have different pricing models than the factory store. Because I have seen shoes like these hitting for $40. And some stores have these discounted. The white version is hitting for $100. Then you got the 22s hitting for $139. Still below retail, but it's the cheapest I've found them. I have not seen them lower than this. No problem, bro. And no matter what store you go to, you're always gonna find Air Forces at retail, $115. Whether it's a high traffic store or a low traffic store, these prices don't budge. This shoe's a national treasure for Nike factory stores because at this price, they do move no matter where you go. Despite what you guys think or feel, because I don't wear Air Forces, but I have to agree, a lot of people hunt for these. No matter what city, what store, and what area they're at, they're always gonna find a pair of Air Force Ones, which is crazy to me, but to each his own. We all like what we like, but I don't think people talk as highly as the downtowns that they do the uptown. And yes, I coined these the downtowns. If you guys been watching my video for a while, you already know I discuss pricing, what we call odd ending pricing. Anything ends with 97, typically get additional discounts, and this one is 30% off. This was at one time another national treasure for Nike, and we're going for retail. They couldn't keep them in stock, and they're reselling for crazy. Now they're $100. They are reduced to $130. They will get cheaper eventually. Depends where you at, if they can move the shoe or not. And this is a new shoe in here. I haven't seen this yet. It's $125. And when shoes do come to the outlet, guys, it does take a while before they get marked down. It's very rare you see a shoe just get marked down instantly. Another Dunk for $90 with additional 30% off. By the look of things, it looks like this shoe is moving. And in the climate we live in today, all big sizes go first. And this is the only 13 left. Everything else is at 10.5. Not a bad price. You're paying around you're paying around $50 for this shoe. It's Nike Dunks. And this could be a manager markdown because Dunks do typically move in a lot of different locations. It all depends on which Dunks, because this is still 80 and this is still 80. And I can argue that no one wants this Dunk. Everywhere I go, I see it in every person's building. Now this one I purchased recently, these black and pink Nike Dunks for $54.97, and I paid the exact same price. I have seen this shoe marked down at other factory stores for the same price, $54.97 with additional 30% off, because I bought this shoe for the exact same price at another location from the bin. They weren't even on the back wall. But eventually these will creep into the back wall, depends how they sell. So this pricing is an example of how Nike will mark down shoes, the same shoes nationally. Someone who does a lot of Nike outlet vlogging, I do keep track of shoes I find for the price I see them at. Sometimes prices do amaze me. For example, these Dunks, I have never seen them in any factory store, and they're $99.97 additional 30% off. I wonder if that's scratchable. Did somebody scratch that? Yes, you can. That's all scratched up on purpose. I wonder if it exposed something else. Maybe corduroy swoosh, suede back heel. It's different. I like it. And I hope I've been clear and concise with my points about how many variables applies for Nike to consider discounted shoe at certain location. One, they need the foot traffic. Two, they need the sales. Thirdly, they need a product. What type of product is being discounted? Is it Nike Air Max? Is it Air Force Ones like in this case? Because these are hitting for $99.97, additional $30. I actually like this shoe. I'm not an Air Force One guy, but I like all the features of it. Got that stretch toe box area. They do got the quilted lining, predominantly leather, and it's corduroy swooshes. Price is not bad, pairs are left. However, other stores may not have this shoe this cheap. Like New York, they love their Air Force One, but you may not see those prices there. You might see closer to retail. There's another shoe. No additional discounts, but it's going for $90. Then you got some more comfortable walkers over here. Florida, I consider an outdoor state. There's a lot of people who probably run and indulge in a lot of outdoor activities, definitely hitting up Disney. They need comfortable walkers. So you can start seeing a lot of these comfortable shoes in the building at these factory stores, especially the stores closer to Disney, like the one we're in right now. Hence the reason why you see Vomeros in here. Probably know they will sell. Probably know they can get that price. These are $89.99. Not my favorite colorway, nor these J's. And I have seen the J's in the clearance store, but clearance store pricing is a whole different ball game. I have mentioned that prior. This one I have never seen before. They're hitting for $100. I'm not mad at the color. Coming from $160, reduced heavy. Now having an additional 30% off would definitely probably raise more eyebrows, and probably this shoe sell out fast. The store knows better. They know what shoe can sell at a particular price, so they might hold out. And we'll see if this moves. If it doesn't, expect a discount. And like I mentioned, since majority of the customers are tourists, they may not be around for a discount. Where I am, I'm local. So me peeping the price for this particular shoe, which is hitting for $99.99, if it doesn't move in a week or so, I could be back here for additional $30. And if it makes the back wall, possibly $40. Depends what day they change the back wall to 40% off. More comfy walkers, these are the P6000, hitting for $100. Now I have seen this shoe here, hundreds. These are the Paul George 6s, his last basketball shoe. Collab off the Hot Wheel. This shoe been here since last year and hitting for $84.97, and you get an additional $30. However, they may not have the market for big feet, so that's why these shoes are still available. We got some more Dunks. Those are $99 with $30 off. I rarely ever see these Dunks move, but they're $125. No wonder. $56 your size? That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, that's a good deal, man. So in the refurbished section, they do got these Jordan 1s craft. They're going for $90, but they're $7.50. Cool about this store, they have a lot of refurbished shoes. Well, they have a refurbished section. And what's refurbished section is, it's like new, gently worn, and slightly imperfect. So shoes that's been worn, returned, shoes that have imperfection are more likely be found here. We also got the KDs, and they're going for $80. My size 12. I don't have this shoe, but I think I may after today, because I have the KD 16s in the On Pros. These are the KD 17s On Pro size 12. My size. They're gently worn, but it doesn't bother me. And I do have the word R on it for refurbished, but you can tell still in pristine condition. And not only are these $80, but you get an additional 30% off. Some stores don't even have the refurbished section. For example, the #1 highest grossing and #2 highest grossing store in the nation don't carry refurbished, but this store does. The least visit Nike factory store in Orlando has a refurbished section, and even our hybrid store, the Unite, also have a refurbished section, but not the two highly trafficked stores. And guys, what I fail to realize is sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Like how I just find those KDs. You never know what you'll find when you get here. This location also find the Belvin 2s. That was a random pickup. Anyways, these Air Jordan 1s hitting for $100, size 10. But y'all getting $30 off of that, but it's a refurbished shoe. The Jordan 4s are the RN 75, size 11. Gently worn. That's fairly cheap. Size 15 Dunks hitting for $63. And you're getting $30 off of it. Air Force One. And you're getting $30 off for $63. Even some Pandas. Those are 69, size 10. You're getting a discount off of those. And there's Pandas all over the place. These are $58, size 10.5, gently worn. And I found some Jordans. What was these? 37s? These are 38s. I apologize. 120 though. Whoppy. Now I bought a pair of these for $50. Box intact from a different store in a different region, and they weren't this expensive. Here's some Jordan 1s, size 11. 108 though. Another craft shoe. Now you could get this shoe at the clearance store for $69.99 if I'm lying. $79.99. Here they want $108, I believe. But you are getting 20% off of it. Still won't be cheaper than the cheapest price I have found them elsewhere. 85 high, size 15, 120 though. And it's like new. That's dope to see. That's clean. This is the 185 high I'm still hunting for. I did find for $99 at the clearance store, and I politely passed because I thought maybe I would find it cheaper. Maybe there's a possibility I would find it cheaper than 100, but at this point, it escapes me. But I think this is a great deal. That would have been dope. So I'm gonna have to politely pass on these. Excuse me. Sorry. You good. In this little area where they'll also have some retros. Now these are hitting for $200. I have seen these cheaper, marked down actually. These Jordan 9s just came out, they sold out, but they only got one size 5, and that's hitting for retail The dude got the reimagined ones, black toes, full price. The J's are full price. These are discounted. And actually, fun fact, I bought a pair from here discounted. I paid 90 with 30 off, which was a crazy deal. But this is not the only location I have these shoes at a cheaper price. I exchanged my size 11.5 that I bought at a different store at this location for a true 12. And I was able to get this with the lid and my size. But here's the funny part. Within 30 minutes later, I visited that same store where I got this for the ultimate cheap price of $34. And they had this in a full size run, including my size. Now, how are they selling a shoe for $34, only to restock it, full size run, and then raise the price? So I was lucky by getting the shoe for the price I want. When I originally came back, the price was not $99. Don't remember what the price was when I came back, but I know that they started at $119, then I saw them went down to $89, then the lows I saw them at $79, but now this is $100. With 30 off, so this is gonna be $69.99. Even at this lowest price, I still got my shoe 50% off. Crazy still. So there's a lot of moving parts determining pricing that we may not even know of. The fact that I visit these stores a lot, I do keep my eye on prices and markdowns, so I know when to pull the trigger. Unfortunately for the tourists, the high traffic Nike stores, they don't get the opportunity. They get one visit and they're done. So they gotta pay the full price for these Air Max 90s if they want it at $94.99, or even these all white Air Force, which really ever go on sale. The only other time I saw them was around Black Friday. Now they're $130 here, along with the blacks, $130. And I did pay a whole lot cheaper than the $130. However, I have seen this shoe with slightly imperfection going for the same price at a different location, and I have an idea why. Because the highly visited Nike factory store that I spoke of, this whole entire video, they can afford to do that. They can keep those imperfection B-grade shoes at full price because tourists, more likely if they want them, they have to pay that price. Where someone like me can monitor it and pull the trigger when it's the absolutely lowest I can get them at. Same for these yellow and gray things at $130. Now, to be honest, these 270s really ever go on sale. You'll be lucky if you can find them. I did find one in a hash wall today. I don't remember the price. Matter of fact, let's take a look at it. And these black and whites, it's going for $80. And you're getting 30% off, size 11. Gently worn. I want to let you guys know there's one particular shoe that really ever get marked down, but it does, and that's the Jordan. It's a flagship product for these stores. When people think of Nike factory store, they think of how cheap they can get their Jordans. In this case, these Roll One Lows, OG by the way, they're hitting for $89. And this is on par where I have found them. I have found them in a Nike clearance store, but I also recently saw these in another factory store, and they were going for the same price. And these are one of these shoes that they'll probably mark the same exact shoe across the board at every factory store. This is the second time I'm seeing that shoe, and it's the same price. Haven't found these yet, but these are going for $90, no additional discount. And this is full retail. Jordan new retro One Lows for $90. Ah, the coveted Air Jordan 6, but in the Olympic colorway. It looks like they're actually selling at $129. And this price is also the same price across the board at other factory stores as well. Along with this reverse Oreo, they're going for $139 in every other location I visit. Got the 312s, and in my luck, the last visit I was here, I did get the 312s for an extremely cheap price. I got them with 54 with additional 30% off. I was lucky, came up on a great steal. Equally a better steal today with these KD17s on pearls. Before I get out of here, I was conversing with a supporter, a subscriber, and he stated because of me, he was able to get these shoes at $69.99. I lied, he got them a lot cheaper because he got additional 40% off his. And we got the Christmas One Lows. I like this color, and I'm so sad they're making the synthesizers. I like that brown, I like that white and green. It's kind of dope, 70 bean. And these are women, guys. UNC to Chi-Town for $70. Those are low as well. And then you got the perforated swoosh lows, no laces. I do your thing, ladies. I'm not sure what you can do with it, but they're going for $70, and these are going for $90. It's very rare it happens. I have seen it a few times, but it's not consistent. The back wall goes additional discount. Across all factory stores is usually the same discount. It's 40, it's gonna be 40% off on footwear across all factory stores. There's been a few times where some stores have 40%, others didn't. But majority of the time, you're gonna see the same discounts on the back wall. But the product on the back wall may vary. You may not find these 8s at another factory store on the hash wall, or these 2s. Those are $79.97. So do keep that in mind. I call the Illies, the black Illies, $94. The Origins, those are $99. And also got the 3s in the building as well. And those are $99.97 with additional 30% off. And another thing that does happen rarely is that the kids' shoes would be discounted, but adult pairs would not. I have seen that before. So just be mindful of that. I don't know if that's per outlet thing or the people at that store didn't get the memo, but that has happened. Guys, Nike factory store pricing is not random. Location, sales, and demand all plays a role on how Nike price their shoes at certain location. Man, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know how I did in this video, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.